Good evening.
Good evening.
Invited to the party here. All these folks in here. And once again, I'd like to invite you to Thomas R. Bland House. I was a real close friend of Thomas's, and he was my co-conspirator during the Civil War. And this, my friends, is a cannonball. It was fired from the federal ship, the USS Delaware, on her way she steamed up the Pascagoula River during the bombardment of Elizabeth City, February 10, 1862. It landed right up here above your head, up here in the bedroom. And the family kept it as a souvenir and as a doorstop for many years. Of course, they didn't really need a reminder of that war back then. Speaking of reminders, I am Thomas McCabe here. Starkey McCabe. I've never seen one of these contraptions. We didn't have one of these back in the 1800s. This is fascinating to me. No, I was part of the McCabe family that was part of the McCabe Grice department store that's on Main Street. It's now, I think, Chess's is working out of. There was a whole bunch of McCabe back then. I was born right here in the early 1800s. Now, I was part of the local militia around here before we went to war with the Union. Now, we were kind of like the National Guard of that day. Anybody here in the National Guard? Oh, okay, well. Does anybody know when North Carolina joined the Union? The Confederacy? Well, it was 1861. We were next to the last to join. It took us a long time to make up our minds, but we made up for that by having more men killed than any other state in the Confederacy. I don't know if we were more braver and smarter, or if we were just more blockheaded and didn't know how to duck. Anyway, when North Carolina joined the Confederacy, I joined the Army. Now, our regiment was sent to the Fort Hatteras down in the Outer Banks to guard that fort. And that was one of the most important forts right then in North Carolina. Just as much freight came through there as came through Wilmington. When the Feds found out about that, they come capture that fort in August of 1861. Now, a lot of our men were killed, a lot of our men were captured. Well, I got wounded and got back here to Elizabeth City. I got away, and I come back here to recuperate. Now, before Hatteras fell, not too many people knew here about Elizabeth City, knew anything about the war. It didn't really affect their lives. But after that, things started happening real quick. Because 6 months later, Burnside came out there and took Roanoke Island. And 2 days later, he's steaming down the Pascagoula River to take Elizabeth City. Now, my little brother, Joe, he was over there at Fort Cobb. Now, Fort Cobb's over there where Winslow Acres is today. Now, he was manning one of the 32-pound cannons they had over there. They only had 4 cannons, and they only had 28 rounds of ammunition, so they didn't have a whole lot to work with. They put the mosquito fleet. That's our little Navy. Took our little mosquito fleet, and they put them off Point Cobb there and chained them together. We were ready for the Federals. And here come the Federals, boy. They were on their way, and our boys started firing. But in all their excitement, they started firing a little bit too soon. Most of the shots came up short. What didn't come up short, they just plain out missed. In other words, we didn't hit squat. Then the Federals started returning fire. They were a lot better shot than what we were. They started hitting that fort with little Joseph there and all his buddies. They spiked their cannons and run like heck. Sorry to say, before Joe could get out of there, he took a round there and killed him right there on the spot. He was about 15, 16 years old. Anyway, the Federals kept on coming and kept bombardment up, and that's when this cannonball hit this house right up here. They finally made it to the waterfront. They got to the waterfront. The vicar from the Episcopal Church, Vicar Forbes, went down there and surrendered the time before too much damage could be done. When I heard the Federals were in town, I got out here best I could with a gimp leg. I went west of town here to join the guerrilla troops they had there, just to try to put up some kind of countermeasure, or at least keep some open lines of communication going. Well, back then, I know it was the Federal guys that came by here. Back then they had that water well out there, and little Tom, boy, about this boy's age right here, was out there at front, and the Federals came by, and the commanding officer saw him. I asked him, would it be all right if he get some water out of there to water the men and the horses. Little boy said, heck no, you damn Yankees, get out of here. You're not getting any out of the water. Well, Tom's mama heard that conversation, and being a good Christian woman that she was, I think she took a switch to his backside. And then she told him, of course, go ahead and get all the water that you need. Well, that turned out to be a pretty good move on her part. Because you see, a lot of the homes here in Elizabeth City have been burned down during the seizure. Not so much by the federal bombardment, but mostly by the locals burning their own houses and even the courthouses they got out of town. But now the federal needed a place to be in town and headquarter out of, so they started seizing and occupying private homes. And when they asked about this house here, they said, no, we don't need to occupy this house. So that worked out pretty well for them. Sadly to say, these federal troops, they moved on, and what they left behind was the dregs of the Union Army. They left behind the occupational troops. These guys weren't good for much of anything except guarding what already had been captured. They went over and tore up what was left of Fort Cobb. Then about the only thing they were good for was just terrorizing the locals around here. If they caught a Confederate soldier or a guerrilla fighter here in town, they just take him down to Water Street and hang him. Well, Elizabeth City was occupied for 15 months. Now, during that time, we had northern sympathizers that we knew about, so you know who they were. But then you had the southern people that were loyal to the cause, but later turned informant just so they'd make the lives better of these guys. At the time, the Chowan River was a barrier. Chowan River, everything west of that was under the Confederacy. Everything east, including Elizabeth City, was now under Union control. So to keep our guerrilla communication open, what we would do was send messengers across Chowan, into Paquemins, and into Pasquotank. And usually my mission was to go get the information, sneak back into town here, go to Waterfront, get up on the 3rd floor of Williams Mercantile, then up on the roof, and take a lantern and signal to the troops over there in Camden County at Chantilly Landing. Well, Thomas would hide me out here when I was on these missions. But like I said, you had to watch out for who you were talking to and who you had to trust. Because on May the 12th, 1863, I was on a similar mission. I got up to the 3rd floor of Williams Mercantile. Things didn't feel quite right. Sure enough, somebody had warned the Yankees, because just as soon as I lit my lantern, a shot hit me and I hit the ground. I was dead right where I landed, right behind where the Arts Council is and the Encore Theater is today, right there in the alleyway. Well, my family wasn't allowed to move me. They made them put up a monument or a tombstone just as a warning to anybody else not to do what I'd done. That was like in 1920, they finally moved me. Still got some issues with the good people of Elizabeth City. Why it took them 50 years to get me out of that alleyway and give me a proper funeral. But anyway, that was 140 years ago, folks. And luckily, this little town's never seen anything quite like that before or since. And good Lord willing, it never will again. That's about all I got to say to you, except next time you see old Cannonball or some museum somewhere, I want you to think about all the lives and the history connected to it. Might change your mind about some things. Anyway, I got to go, and apparently so do you. So good evening to you all.